Welcome back to Batman Arkham City. So we finally took down the Grando Riddler side quest, and on our way back to from the museum, it's rigged with a bunch of disruptors that we're going to need to take out in order to properly get into the museum. And on our way, we found this little cat and rat in the street.
Hey, I'm a mouse, not a rat.
Oh,
But it rhymes with cat.
I thought you were talking about the mooks down there, because yeah, no, those mooks are gonna... That's the jammer we gotta take down.
Yeah.
That is the most ancient-looking cell phone I have ever seen.
Oh yeah, just as a bit of a heads up, the museum that Penguin took over here, Penguin in this game is a bit of, I guess a hoarder would be a right word. He likes to collect what he deems are the best, or just like a collection of a bunch of stuff, whether it be like old military-grade stuff, or like mementos of things. He even like has mementos of like people he defeated. Like a slight spoiler alert, there's one story. It's one of the stories that you can read in like the little extra stuff. There's one story that implied that Penguin actually killed and stuffed Lou and Bud.
Oh, damn.
Oh, the hyenas? Shit.
Yeah, the hyenas. And you actually can see them in the museum if you look around.
Well, shit.
I mean, it's not as... I'll be honest, I completely forgot. There was at least a half a second where I forgot that Lou and Bud were the name of the hyenas and not actual people.
That's fine.
Would you put it past Penguin to not stuff him?
Oh, no, I wouldn't put it past him at all. That's why I thought we were all freaking out, and then the part of me actually felt, oh, thank God, it's just the hyenas.
How can you not care about Bud and Lou?
Well, it's even then, it's still bad. Because it's Harley's babies.
I mean, I'm honestly surprised that Harley doesn't, take that... Well, actually, does she even know that Penguin killed him and stuffed him?
I'm pretty sure she does and is rightfully pissed, but she just doesn't bring it up because, Joker dying and whatnot.
I mean, yeah, fair. When you're torn between your little pets and your owner, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, like, I kind of do like it whenever they involve Bud and Lou. I just like the idea of, like, Harley owning these two, like, deadly animals, and she just treats them like puppies.
Yeah.
Well, just so long as the feeling's mutual.
Oh, it usually is. Okay, so, for sections like this, when you have to do, like, stealth around the generators, they are gone. I'm not going to take out the generator, because when you smash into each side, it obviously makes a loud crash, and that alerts any conscious guards around.
Ow, what the hell? Who turned out the lights?
Yeah.
I did.
So, as we take down another cell phone jammer... Sorry, I just realized there's some awkward silence there. How many
you're
of these
fine.
jammers are there across the city?
There's only one more.
Okay. Do we really need to punch every single screen? Like, it's gonna just...
Well, he wants to make sure that it's fully disabled.
Because, all of these screens could incidentally launch a countermeasure, and Batman doesn't want none of that.
Batman, you could have just thrown a rock at those screens. You don't have to punch every TV. That's a very... Think of what the kids will learn from this.
Yeah, it could scrape their arms.
My dear citizen, have you never heard of the hammers of justice?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, now here's a bit of a tricky wicket with this third generator. Penguin actually is a little bit on the smart side. He actually has one of the generators underneath the museum, so we're gonna have to get to like the subways underneath Gotham in order to get to it.
Because of course they
Okay.
gotta pad out the game time a little more, just for the sake of it.
Into the sewers we go.
Subways.
So
we're gonna become sewer bats.
No,
subway
subway.
bats. Yeah, I know. Don't worry, I already had that for lunch. I'm saying
Sub-bats.
we're going into the sewers though.
No, it's the subways.
I said I already had that for lunch. Don't worry. I'm saying, but we're gonna go into the sewer later though, right?
You brain dead idiot.
So, are they guarding the entrance into the subway?
Yes. No, they're just over there playing 20 questions. What do you think?
I'm
Batman
sorry.
guards are pretty... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The moment you just called him a brain dead idiot, I was hoping the next response was going to be, of course, Master Bruce.
Of course, that's true.
No. Logan is so dumb he's not even worthy enough to be Bruce.
But I am dumb enough to now fully believe that I can breathe underwater.
That's possible.
For 10 minutes?
Potentially.
I thought you were going to say he's not worthy of being Alfred.
I like that bit of dialogue. It's
Because Alfred's the one who says, of course, Master Bruce.
But that is one bit of dialogue I like, where it's like they were talking about like the instructions for the jammers. It's like, when have you read? I read. Porn isn't reading.
Oh.
You.
Yeah, you're right. Porn isn't reading.
Yeah, it's like some would say it's barely worth entertainment, but it's like the Mook section, the Mook dialogue is probably where some of the more like amusingly raunchier stuff you hear is.
I mean, so long as you don't show it, it's a free game.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like that's kind of how the Arkham games were able to get away with a lot of stuff. Like, for example, in Asylum, during the Riddler interview tapes, he actually talks about, like, disarming a baby, but they only talk about it, they don't show it.
Yes, he does.
It's actually in the game. Oh, and this is something to keep in mind. You see this poster here?
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to remember this tall, gruesome fellow, because something tells me
Solomon
he's going to
Grundy.
show up a little later.
Yeah, it's Solomon Grundy.
Born on a Monday.
He hates Mondays, doesn't he?
Don't mind me using another power-up that we're technically not supposed to use yet.
Now just because I'm bored, I kind of want to make my own sort of take on the poem or what have you. It's like Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday, took a shit on Tuesday. Had to get groceries on Wednesday.
Ow!
This
Yeah.
little piggy had
Butt.
roast beef. This little piggy had none.
And we'll get more of this.
Took some Titan on Thursday.
Exploded on Saturday.
Well, what did he do on Friday?
Oh, I thought he said Friday.
No, he said Thursday.
Okay. Oh, this is something that also keep in... We technically saw it in the last stealth mission, but now they're going to start introducing mooks that have, like, their own personal jammers on their backs that disable detective vision.
Yeah, again, this is, like, Arkham City, for all intents and purposes, like, it really does stay true to being a sequel to Arkham Asylum, and the fact that it really does extend far beyond what was established in the original game.
And I like that. I like that what we're seeing here is like, yeah, like the fact that it's been moving more or less pretty smoothly, and I like that this is starting to build off of what other games of the generation have. I love how no matter what, this goddamn city is like, no matter where you are, there's gonna be gargoyles.
Well, this is based on... Well, what's kind of amusing is that, like, a lot of the underground aspects that we're going through, like the subways and another section, this is technically part of... And you hear some mooks talk about it. Apparently there was a much older city that was built, that the new modern Gotham is built on top of.
Oh, is this what the whole Gotham Knights thing goes into with the whole the
I would not
owl or
be
whatever?
surprised.
Because I know there was something in the comics, like there's this whole underworld, and it's like a whole... Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, no, I like that basically they're taking after what a lot of the games of this generation were doing, where they have these seamless transitions with almost no loading times of, hey, here we are in a stealth section, very reminiscent of gameplay in Arkham Asylum, just bam, right now, after this open world exploration.
I mean, yeah, for all intents and purposes, this is pretty much to, Arkham Asylum as, Tui was to Banjo-Kazooie.
Yep. Although I would argue City does handle it a bit better than Tui does.
And I forget if we had already asked, but what would you say is your favorite Arkham game, Hype?
Definitely City. Like, I respect Asylum for being the first in the series, but I just prefer the larger amount of, like, versatility and variety that City has. And plus, I just prefer how Batman controls in City more.
And Night and Origins?
I have not played Night, so you and Matt are going to have a field day with that. Origins is kind of weird for me. Like, I don't think it's as good as City. I personally like it more than Asylum, though.
Okay. Well, we will eventually get to those games, I think.
Because it's like, well, you're going to eventually get to them, because we agreed you're going to be the one recording Origins.
Fine.
Oh, okay. I got Origins mixed up with Night because I forgot that was the one where Roger Craig Smith was Batman and Troy Baker was Joker.
I forgot that that's the actress they got for that. Oh my god, that's gonna be a trip. Was there any reason why Kevin did not reprise his role for that game?
Well, they said that for Origins in particular, they wanted to have an actor that sounded like a younger Bruce than what Kevin does.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Hey, Seely. Do you think, what's his name? The guy who voices Tuxedo Mask currently.
Robbie Damon.
Do you think he could be a good Batman?
I think he could. He was a good. I think he could. He was a good Ken.
Like, honestly,
That's
like
true. If he used his Ken voice, he could probably be Batman.
that's interesting. I feel like if not Bruce, I feel like he'd probably be a decent Nightwing.
That too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah,
Compartment.
as far as Robbie Damon's concerned, the most I know him from is mostly like higher pitch speaking roles. Like, there was that one character from Final Fantasy 15 he played. I'm trying to remember his name. Promptus, maybe, whatever. There was him, and I know for a brief stint he voiced Pinstripe in CTR.
I mean, in Vista North Star, Vista North Star Lost Paradise, his Ken voice was so good you wouldn't have known it was Robbie Damon until someone pointed it out.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree. That was probably one of the more out there roles I've heard from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a little bit interesting. So, apparently there's been a body spotted here. However, something interesting about this body is that, like, the way the body was dealt with, it doesn't really match any MO of any previously established Batman villain. This looks like the work of someone new in the works.
Oh my god, what if... Could you frickin' imagine... What if it's just a killer? Could you frickin' imagine in the world of Gotham if it's just a killer? Not some mass vigilante, just an actual real crime that police could handle.
Well, I don't know, Logan. This guy didn't just outright kill them. He pretty much peeled off their face.
Like I said, and actually... No, okay, sorry. But just in general, like, it always seems so... Not convenient, but it always seems just so odd that, like, there is just no real crime. Everything is just immediately pumped up to the extreme in Gotham.
Welcome to comic books.
Yep.
Hasn't it been established at this point that Gotham City used to be a Green Lantern place of origin?
Really?
The Golden Age Green Lantern, maybe.
I just remember that the whole thing with Batman started off like, and I think if I'm correct, this is again where the term DC came from, is that Batman started
Detective
off
Comics.
as Detective Comics, and Batman just happened to be one of the more eccentric detectives in their Detective Comics, and I guess do you think that's what did it? Like that his eccentricities was what started the whole, or what kickstarted the whole like Western superhero thing?
Maybe.
Well,
Or was it- 'cause
honestly, I feel like as far as like superheroes go, I feel like DC definitely does have like the bigger name in that regard, because you have like obviously the likes of Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman that are like pretty much like the big hallmarks of superhero-dom.
At least when it started, Marvel has definitely picked up in terms of modern, in the younger generation. But I feel like even as a kid, I felt like Superman and Batman have more history to them than Marvel's characters did.
Well, of course.
And thus the grand DC-Marvel relationship akin to DreamWorks and Disney began with their comic books and their characters.
And you might notice I'm going a little bit off the beaten path. That's because I know where the guy is ahead of time.
Up.
So yeah, apparently this guy was hired by the guy that killed the guy back there. This guy was hired to pretty much help dispose of the body. But the thing is, the guy that asked him to do it was Bruce Wayne.
Huh?
Sorry, Steve, the timing. The guy's name was Bruce Wayne. What?
I almost thought he would have let it slip, like, what? I mean, what? Tried it like,
Yeah, just like with Sly, it's just like with Sly and Band of Thieves, where it's like, what? What?
Yeah, good times.
Okay, now we're heading back to the museum now that we took care of the jammers. I just wanted to go ahead and get the whole thing of like, yes, we are going to be showing Hush in this playthrough.
Okay.
And then Zaz is in the corner just being all, why won't Bat Senpai notice me?
Because nobody likes you, Zaz. You're a very generic villain.
Why won't he listen to my fan fiction?
Because you're a generic villain whose your entire character trait is defined by your skin. Like the scars in your
Yes.
skin, that's it. That's his whole character trait.
You know, if Matt were still with us, he would be chewing you out for disrespecting the name of Zaz, because he was talking about him being kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it is nice that he has been starting to get, like, more of a name for himself, but yeah, in the grand scheme of things, he's not really that important.
Yeah, like, he just seems like the kind of guy that even the police shouldn't have any problem with.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that we've taken care of all the radar jammers, we're back in the museum.
And we can finally hack into the museum, so that way when we would pass a certain thing, the gates would show up. Now they're not going to show up. Instead, a T-Rex is going to show up.
What?
Oh, okay, it's just a diorama.
Yeah, it's just a diorama that's meant for a jump scare. It's only a one-time jump scare, though.
It's more effective if you're the impatient type and just running through the hallway.
Just the penguin's like, what was that? Sorry, we only had enough money in the budget to make it do one roar. Can't make it a weapon? Nope, just one roar.
Also, I want you to pay close attention to the mooks that are... Well, I'm trying to say, attention to the guy that those mooks are dealing with. That is one of the members of the GCPD that were sent as, like, undercover moles to bust the Penguin's operation.
Ooh. Unfortunately, the Penguin has, he has a history with underground activity to notice moles and put them in their place.
Don't like it. Also, wouldn't they be more interested in wanting to shut down, Hugo Strange's whole operation? Like, Penguins is just an operation within an operation.
Well, the thing is that, like, this is more so just... What they're doing is basically kind of like a crowd control in Arkham City. Hugo Strange is kind of on that tier where it's, like, people have an inkling that he's kind of up to no good, but technically no one really has, like, the proof or dirt on him to really take action.
If Gordon sent you, you'll know the code.
Versus Penguin, who is already, like, a well-established criminal in this city.
Oh, man, what was it?
Alright, then.
The code. Now.
It's Sarah.
Let's get with
He
it.
said to tell you the code is Sarah.
Sarah, a.k.a.
That's his wife.
I think that's the name of Jim's wife.
Elvis Jones.
I think that is his wife.
I was honestly going to be all like, Sarah Dippity!
Sarah Dippity.
No, I was like, it's Sarah. Hi, no, it's Batman. What's your name?
I told Gordon it was too dangerous to send you in. Stay if the rest of your team is alive.
But yeah, now that's something we have to keep in mind. So Gordon sent in a bunch of his men to be like undercover moles. Obviously, Penguin found them out. So now, in addition to trying to hunt down Penguin, we're also going to need to keep an eye out for all of the undercover cops, because Penguin's pretty much had them, like, stored in different parts of the museum, and we're pretty much going to have to rescue them.
Matt?
Oh boy.
Wait, Matt.
I was just saying, like, Matt, don't worry. We're not gonna forget you when we get to like the other big parts of this plot.
Don't worry. That's
I like to let him know I'm still listening to him.
But he's not even
He'll
here.
listen. He knows.
He's gonna watch this event. He's gonna watch this eventually, and he's gonna watch this eventually, and he's gonna go. He just.
Wait, they're showing him without me?
Matt, don't bite your nails.
Yeah, don't bite your nails. It's disgusting.
Honestly, like I mentioned to them before, it's gonna be like at least like 4 parts until we get to the part he threatened us to not do without.
But yeah, no, Matt, don't bite your nails like Logan usually does.
Shush,
Yep.
it's okay.
Yeah, don't
Oh
bite
my-
your nails, dude. No one bite your.
Is that
Who's that?
Is that young penguin?
That's Oswald Cobblepot.
Yep, that's a family
That's
portrait.
So silly.
He's so,
So I'm gonna.
cute.
Oh.
You want to
wonder what
rephrase that,
happens
Jordan?
here. I wonder what happens here. So I guess I'll ask. Hi. Now that we have these darn like
Doof.
dead cop, he's not.
That is one less cop to worry about, unfortunately. But yeah, go ahead and ask your question, Logan. He's just gonna be penguining up here.
With all these undercover cops now, we gotta find just in general on a scale. Oh, it's the other half of the duo with Joker.
Yeah, Mr. Sickle.
Hey, Sickle.
You here for the cops? The Iceman.
And yeah, as a reminder, just to bring the girls up to speed, so we were trying to get a hold of Mr. Freeze to get the cure for Joker and Batman's illness. Penguin, because he hates Joker, found this out and has pretty much kidnapped Mr. Freeze, in addition to these Gotham policemen that we're going to have to rescue as well.
I see.
I mean, it's pretty much a win-win situation for him.
Yeah, now for another time, Logan, what were you going to ask me?
With all these new things on a scale of 1 to DK64, how many collectibles do we have in this game actually?
Oh, I will say, like, the cops aren't really that big of a hassle to deal with. Like, you only have to... One of them in another room, you do have to go out of your way to get. The others, you pretty much automatically get when you clear out a room, because 2 of them are in a stealth section.
Gotcha.
I mean, there's also the matter of fact that, the cops are clearly story relevant for this section and this section alone.
Mm-hmm. standing just where I want you.
I noticed that Penguin has a weird device on his neck. Is that like one of those devices you have if you smoke to try to talk?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, basically, because obviously, as you can tell, Penguin does enjoy himself a good cigar, and that's definitely taken a toll on him.
Yeah, you know what? It actually took me till this very playthrough, this commentary, to notice he even had a fucking smoked lung in the first place.
Yeah, like, they really tried hard to make Penguin a lot more of a grisly character in this compared to how he's in the comics. Nope!
Ah!
Don't hit him with your umbrella.
Well, that was an accident.
Still, watch where you're going, man.
Well, like he's gonna care.
Yeah. But yeah, I was about to say, it's honestly kind of amusing how, like, Arkham City in particular really went out of their way to make Penguin seem like a much more grisly character than what he's usually depicted as, because in a lot of adaptations up until now, he's usually depicted as kind of like a very posh gentleman of crime, in the sense of, like, you know, he'll obviously do underground dealings, but he'll be really, like, you know, upper class to try to keep up appearances. And this one, you know, they just straight up make him kind of more of like, honestly, I would say, think the Danny DeVito Penguin if he was a little bit more civilized.
I mean,
Yeah.
Danny DeVito notwithstanding.
That
you know,
as he just said.
Fair, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, that is what he said.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
No,
I've
you're
been really
fine.
out
You're
of it today.
fine. Don't.
I mean,
worry.
this penguin may be rugged and you know can't really talk properly anymore without that thing on his neck. But at least he's not. At least he's civilized enough to know not to live in the sewers with a bunch of other people from the zoo.
And he'd raw fish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need more crowd control, because when they put us in a room with like 15 people, it just means they're gonna have a very long fight ahead of us.
Well, again, this is New Game Plus is basically meant to be a harder mode.
So in New Game Plus they do spawn more enemies than normal.
Oh yeah, the New Game Plus takes into account a lot of things. Like, for example, those jammer enemies that we saw in the subway, in New Game Plus they spawned them much earlier, like in the GCPD stealth section we went to. The subway is where we were originally meant to start seeing them.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just For some reason, I thought it was just a matter of like health and damage values. But okay, so they increase enemy variety. That's good.
So, just to give you, like, the brass tacks of what New Game Plus does, it does increase, like, how much they hit, it increases how much damage they deal, it increases, like, the difficulty of some scenarios, like spawning in different types of mooks, and if you've noticed, whenever you play here's a bit of a big gun we're gonna have to worry about.
Whoa.
What's that?
For this moment only.
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
a Titan.
yeah, yeah. Although, like, don't be too, like, I would say intimidated. I feel like some people are going to be like, this devil damn thing again. They only use this guy, like, twice.
Okay, but so do you contend with them the same way you did in Asylum?
Actually, you don't, and I'm about to demonstrate right here. You could try to do the old-fashioned boomerang thing. It doesn't work.
Damn.
What you have to do is this... You have to do this ultra stun attack to get him unconscious, which is you do that by pressing the stun button twice.
And Batman's Titan.
Oh yeah, the Titan, when you control the Titan, he does have some new moves. One of them being like this charge forward, which he does here.
I'm looking
And you
at
could
you,
also
Crash.
have him, and also is like this little shockwave punch that he's about to do right here.
I'm looking at you, Crash Bandicoot. You ain't so original.
To be fair, this came out. I think this came out like after those games.
I'm
Yeah,
looking at
it did,
you,
yeah.
I'm looking at you, Batman. You ain't so original.
Nice save.
Someone's copying something. That's all I'm saying here.
Well, does it have to be outright copying? Can't it just be a coincidence?
I'm sorry, I just realized. My dear delusional Dark Knight, are you sure you should be wearing that cowl? It looks flammable!
Oh yeah, that's right, because Mark was technically in Wrath of Cortex.
Yes.
Wait, who was he in Wrath of Cortex?
He was one of the elementals.
Yeah.
The fiery
Oh,
one.
right,
Yep,
right, okay.
He was freaking.
He literally used a subdued version of his usual Joker voice.
And it was okay. It was all right. I thought it was neat.
Honestly, not for nothing, I love the other actors they have on board. I feel like Mark's was the only one that his voice actually fit the mask he was voicing.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, granted, I'll give some kudos to the one that Jess voiced, but the one
Yeah,
that
like his was pretty amusing too, but it's
but
like
getting fucking Fell Metal Jacket guy.
Arlie Ermy.
Yeah, as the water one was kind of weird, and I mean, I'm not going to entirely say I disliked how who voiced Rocco again?
Tom F. Wilson.
Tom F. Wilson. I thought he was fine for what it was worth, though. That's mostly nostalgia talking, but they were clearly just making him be Biff again.
Oh yeah, because it basically is Biff, right down to again being the same actor.
What are you looking at, Fuzzhead?
Fuzzhead.
Now why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
Wow.
So
yeah, that was a situation.
Indeed.
Also, I think in terms of the plot, I think it's around here where, Barbara actually wakes up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There you
there
go.
she is. Yeah, she kind of just like pops up out of nowhere, honestly.
And huzzah, she's in the plot.
Hooray!
Yeah, well, not so much in the plot. Basically, as you go further into the game, she kind of switches places with Alfred for a bit.
Oh.
Yeah, and that like from this point onward, you get to start talking to her more than you do Alfred.
Ah, okay.
Fair. I mean, Alfred has been, Batman's emotional support for the longest time, but in the grand scheme of things, he's his butler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so now we have Oracle. Now we can actually, get some real lore and stuff or whatever.
Which I guess is another thing. Which I guess is another thing I will say. Like, I forget if I mentioned this back in the Arkham Asylum thing, but the whole Oracle persona that Barbara puts on, I primarily was introduced to thanks to Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people were.
But I didn't know, what happened to her that led her to be Oracle until I looked into the Killing Joke.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Joker.
Yeah, just and I still stand by my opinion that the book is definitely one of the quintessential Batman experiences. It's a great read. The movie though is a little bit dicey.
Yeah, kinda.
At least half of it could have very well have been been put on the chopping block.
Yeah.
Especially that one scene.
And honestly, not for nothing, I feel like even the actual Killing Joke portion itself, I feel like some scenes weren't really done enough justice. Like, for example, when you get, that iconic shot, where Joker finally, sees himself for the first time and it shows, that haunting image of him laughing. Not for nothing, I feel like Mark could have done, a lot better with that laugh.
Which is weird, considering the fact that, again, this is, the one adaptation that Mark Hamill really wanted to do above all else. So what the hell happened?
I feel like it really does have to play into a fact that, and I've noticed in a few places too, in the Justice League action, I feel like it's getting to a point where his age isn't quite letting him do the Joker performances he really wants to.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, DC, for taking so damn long.
Yeah. But we won't be taking so long rescuing these cops, because that's what we're going to be doing in the next part. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Until next time, everybody.